Ladies, let me tell you something important. At some point in every relationship, a man will want you to detach. Now, don't misunderstand that word. Detachment does not mean he doesn't love you, doesn't care, or doesn't want you in his life. It simply means that sometimes a man needs space to process life, pressure, responsibility, and even his own emotions. Men are often described as simple creatures, but that simplicity is misunderstood. When something heavy is sitting on a man's shoulders, his natural instinct is not to talk it out immediately. His instinct is to go quiet, to pull back, to step into his own mental space and figure things out alone. Many women notice this pattern and feel confused or hurt by it. A man who was once expressive suddenly becomes distant. Conversations shorten, energy shifts, and the first thought that enters a woman's mind is often, what did I do wrong? But most of the time, it has nothing to do with you. When a man pulls back, he is not rejecting the relationship. He is responding to pressure the only way he knows how. While women tend to process emotions through conversation and connection, men tend to process through silence and reflection. Think of it like a cave. When life gets heavy, a man retreats into that cave. Inside, he thinks, analyzes, plans, and prepares his next move. He is not forgetting about you. He is trying to regain control of himself. Many women with good intentions try to pull him out of that cave. They ask questions, offer advice, suggest solutions, and push for reassurance. While the intention is love, the effect can be the opposite. A man who feels pressure to talk before he is ready will retreat even deeper. Now imagine a different approach. A woman notices her man is quieter than usual after a stressful day at work. Instead of interrogating him or assuming the worst, she understands. She reminds herself that his silence is not personal. She gives him space. She offers one calm sentence, I'm here if you need me, then she lets him be. That simple act communicates trust, patience, and emotional strength. This kind of detachment is not coldness, it is confidence. Detachment is powerful because it shifts the dynamic. When a woman steps back, she allows a man to miss her presence. In that quiet space, he reflects. He realizes the value she brings to his life. This is not manipulation or playing games. This is emotional maturity. Detachment means you respect his process while protecting your own peace of mind. You stop overthinking. You stop chasing explanations. You stay grounded in yourself. When a woman detaches in a healthy way, she sends a powerful message. I trust you and I trust myself. Men feel that energy. It reduces pressure and increases respect. Over time, this builds trust. A man feels safe knowing he is not being judged or controlled while he works through his challenges. Respect is everything to a man, almost more than love. Respect defines how he feels in a relationship. When a woman constantly tries to fix, manage, or control situations, a man can start to feel incapable. His confidence erodes. He feels like he is failing. But when a woman detaches with grace, she gives him room to step up. She allows him to solve problems, make decisions, and prove himself to himself. Men are wired to solve problems. When they overcome a challenge on their own, they feel fulfilled. If someone takes that opportunity away from them, it can feel like a blow to their pride. Detachment allows a man to lead without feeling micromanaged. It strengthens his sense of purpose. Healthy detachment also creates balance. A relationship should not consume your entire identity. When both partners maintain individuality, the connection becomes stronger, not weaker. A confident woman knows her worth is not tied to how much she sacrifices or fixes. She knows when to lean in and when to step back. So the next time your man retreats into his cave, don't panic, don't chase, don't assume the worst. Trust the process, give him space, focus on yourself. When he returns, the bond will often be stronger than before. If this message resonated with you, make sure you subscribe to my channel, Harvey's World, for more real talk and motivation. And I want you to comment below and tell me where you're watching from. Drop your country name and show love. Thank you for listening. Stay confident and remember your peace is your power always. the space to grow and thrive individually and as a couple. When a man feels respected in this way, he naturally wants to reciprocate. He starts to see his partner not just as someone who supports him, but as someone he deeply values. That respect fosters a stronger emotional connection, making the relationship more fulfilling for both partners. In the moments when a woman detaches, she also sends a subtle but powerful signal. She values herself and her own well-being. Men are drawn to women who have their own sense of independence and confidence. When a woman is secure enough to step back and let her partner navigate his own challenges, it shows that she's not dependent on him for her happiness. That kind of self-assuredness is incredibly attractive to a man. Detachment also helps prevent unnecessary conflicts. Often arguments in relationships stem from miscommunication or misunderstandings. When a woman detaches, instead of reacting immediately, she creates room for clarity and perspective. She's less likely to take things personally or escalate a situation. Instead, she can approach the relationship with a sense of calm and understanding. For example, if a man comes home after a stressful day and seems distant, a woman who practices detachment won't immediately assume the worst. She won't start questioning his love or commitment. Instead, she'll give him the space to decompress, trusting that he'll open up when he's ready. This kind of patience and trust can prevent unnecessary arguments and create a more peaceful dynamic in the relationship. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or needs. It's about finding a healthy balance between caring for your partner and caring for yourself. When a woman detaches, she's also setting boundaries for what she will and won't tolerate in a relationship. She's showing that while she loves and supports her partner, she won't lose herself in the process by detaching with confidence and grace. A woman creates a space where respect, trust, and love can flourish. She allows her partner to be himself while staying true to her own values and needs. It's a powerful approach that strengthens the bond and makes the relationship more fulfilling for both people involved. In any relationship, here's a clean, polished, emotionally powerful rewrite with better flow and clarity while keeping the same meaning and motivational tone. Detachment is not about walking away or giving up. It is about creating balance and nurturing mutual respect. When a woman detaches with confidence, she is not pulling back because she doesn't care. She is stepping back to create space for both individuals to grow. This mindset allows her to protect her self-worth and individuality while showing her partner that she trusts him to handle his own responsibilities and challenges. Healthy detachment strengthens relationships because it prevents emotional overdependence and reduces unnecessary conflict. It creates room for personal growth and brings clarity to situations that would otherwise feel overwhelming or tense. When a man feels respected and trusted, he naturally responds with love and appreciation. He sees his partner as a woman who values herself, and that self-respect makes her even more attractive. Detachment is not about playing games or withholding love. It is about approaching the relationship with calmness, emotional maturity, and understanding. Not every situation needs to be rolled or fixed immediately. By stepping back, a woman gives her partner the opportunity to reflect, take action, and even miss her presence. This deepens emotional connection and strengthens the bond. A confident woman who practices detachment is secure within herself and her relationship. She understands that her value is not measured by control or sacrifice, but by respecting her own boundaries and those of her partner. This creates a dynamic of trust, balance, and mutual respect. Detachment is not weakness or indifference. It is strength and wisdom. When practiced with love and intention, it transforms relationships into something healthier, deeper, and more fulfilling for both partners. Detachment is one of the most misunderstood concepts in relationships. Many people hear the word and immediately think it means coldness, distance, or emotional withdrawal. They assume detachment is about caring less, loving less, or preparing to walk away. But true detachment is none of those things. Real detachment is not about disconnecting from love. It is about disconnecting from fear, control, and emotional dependence. It is about choosing balance over anxiety and trust over insecurity. When a woman practices detachment in a healthy way, she is not giving up on her relationship. She has given herself permission to breathe. She is choosing to step out of the constant need to manage, fix, chase, or prove her worth. Detachment allows her to love without losing herself, to care without overextending, and to stay present without becoming emotionally consumed. At its core, detachment is rooted in self-worth. A woman who detaches confidently understands that her value does not come from how much she sacrifices, how much she tolerates, or how much she gives until she is empty. She knows that love should add to her life, not drain it. This awareness changes how she shows up in relationships. She stops operating from fear of abandonment, fear of loss, fear of being replaced, and starts operating from inner security. One of the biggest mistakes many women make in relationships is overinvesting emotionally too early or too intensely. This often comes from a good place, love, loyalty, and a desire to build something meaningful. But when emotional investment turns into emotional dependence, problems begin. Overdependence creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance. And resistance slowly erodes intimacy. Detachment removes that pressure. It shifts the dynamic from I need you to feel okay to I choose you, but I am okay with myself. That difference is powerful. When a woman is emotionally dependent, she may constantly seek reassurance, overanalyze her partner's actions, and feel unsettled when communication changes. When she is detached in a healthy way, she trusts the relationship enough to allow space. She doesn't panic in silence, and she doesn't assume distance means danger. This does not mean she becomes distant or unavailable. It means she becomes grounded. She remains loving, present, and engaged, but she no longer abandons herself to keep someone else comfortable. She understands that her peace matters just as much as the relationship. Detachment also teaches emotional discipline. Instead of reacting to every emotion, every message delay, or every misunderstanding, a detached woman responds thoughtfully. She pauses before speaking. She reflects before reacting. She no longer feels the need to control outcomes or force conversations at the wrong time. This emotional maturity brings stability into the relationship. For men, this kind of energy feels different when a man senses that a woman trusts him, respects him, and is not trying to manage every detail of his emotional world. He feels more relaxed and open. Men naturally respond positively to trust. When they feel trusted, they feel respected. And respect is a powerful foundation for love. A woman who practices detachment communicates without words that she believes in her partner's ability to show up. She allows him to lead where appropriate, to solve problems in his own way, and to take responsibility for his actions. This doesn't weaken the relationship, it strengthens it. It creates a dynamic where both partners feel capable, valued, and free. Another important aspect of detachment is individuality. Healthy relationships consist of two whole individuals, not two halves trying to complete each other. Detachment encourages a woman to maintain her own interests, friendships, goals, and identity. She doesn't shrink her world to revolve around one person. Instead, she brings a full, rich life into the relationship. When a woman continues to grow personally, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, she becomes more attractive, not less. Growth creates depth. Independence creates confidence. Confidence creates magnetism. A man is naturally drawn to a woman who has her own sense of purpose and fulfillment. Detachment also helps clarify truth. When a woman stops overgiving, overchasing, and overexplaining, she allows people to reveal who they truly are. She no longer compensates for someone else's lack of effort. She observes instead of forcing. This clarity is invaluable. It helps her see whether the relationship is truly mutual or if she has been carrying the emotional weight alone. This is where detachment becomes an act of self-protection. It does not mean closing the heart. It means guarding it wisely. A detached woman still loves deeply, but she loves with awareness. She understands that love without boundaries leads to resentment, exhaustion, and loss of self. Boundaries are a natural extension of detachment. They are not walls meant to keep people out. They are guidelines that protect emotional health. When a woman respects her own boundaries, she teaches others how to treat her. She no longer accepts inconsistency, emotional neglect, or disrespect simply to keep the peace. Instead, she prioritizes emotional safety. Detachment also reduces conflict. Many arguments in relationships are fueled by fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of losing control, fear of being misunderstood. When detachment is practiced, these fears lose their grip. Conversations become calmer. Disagreements become less personal. Solutions become easier to find because emotions are no longer overwhelming logic. Another powerful effect of detachment is the space it creates for appreciation. When a woman stops being constantly available and stops anticipating every need, her presence becomes felt more deeply. Absence, when healthy, creates awareness. It allows both partners to recognize each other's value without taking it for granted. This does not mean disappearing or using silence as punishment. Healthy detachment is never manipulative. It is honest and intentional. It is about knowing when to step back so that both people can reflect, recharge, and reconnect with clarity. A confident woman understands that she does not need to compete for love. She does not need to prove her worth through sacrifice. She trusts that the right partner will meet her where she is. This trust allows her to remain calm even in uncertainty. She knows that if something is meant for her, it will not require constant anxiety or self-betrayal. Detachment also strengthens emotional resilience. Life is unpredictable. Relationships go through phases. A detached woman understands this and does not panic when things feel imperfect. She stays grounded in herself, knowing that her happiness is not entirely dependent on one person or one outcome. This inner security is what transforms relationships. When both partners feel respected, and emotionally safe, love becomes lighter and deeper at the same time. There's less fear and more trust, less control and more connection. Ultimately, detachment is not indifference. Indifference comes from emotional shutdown. Detachment comes from emotional intelligence. It is a sign of strength, wisdom, and self-awareness. It shows that a woman understands the importance of balance, that she can love deeply without losing herself. When practiced with love and intention, detachment creates relationships that are healthier, more authentic, and more fulfilling. It allows love to flow naturally instead of being forced. It creates space for growth, respect, and genuine intimacy. And most importantly, it protects a woman's peace, self-worth, and happiness without sacrificing love. Steve Harvey often says that the most painful seasons of your life are not meant to destroy you, but to strip you of what you were never supposed to depend on in the first place. That belief did not come from comfort or success. It came from failure, embarrassment, rejection, and long nights when he had nothing but faith and clarity. Long before fame, before television, before money, Steve Harvey experienced detachment in its rawest form, forced separation from security, certainty, and control. In the early years of his career, Steve Harvey was homeless. He slept in his car. He showered at gas stations. He performed comedy in clubs where the audience barely listened. At that stage of life, he learned something that would later define his teachings. When everything external is taken away, you are left with who you truly are, And if you don't have inner stability, no amount of external validation will save you. That lesson translates directly into relationships. Steve Harvey has spoken openly about failed marriages and emotional mistakes. He admits that he didn't always understand balance, communication, or responsibility as a man. He learned the hard way that love cannot survive when one person is emotionally carrying everything while the other avoids growth. Over time, he realized that relationships fail not because people stop loving, but because they lose respect for themselves and each other. Detachment, in the way Steve Harvey teaches it, is rooted in respect. One of his most repeated messages to women is this: a man will only respect what you respect about yourself. That statement is not meant to blame women. It is meant to empower them. When a woman overextends, overgives, and overcompensates, she unintentionally teaches people that her boundaries are flexible. Detachment corrects that pattern. It restores balance. Steve Harvey explains that men respond to space differently than women. Where women often seek closeness during uncertainty, men often need space to process, reflect, and step into responsibility. When a woman panics during that space, calling, chasing, demanding reassurance, she may think she is fighting for love, but in reality, she is fighting against nature. Detachment allows a woman to pause instead of pursue, and that pause is powerful. In Steve Harvey's own life, growth did not happen when people chased him or rescued him. Growth happened when he was forced to sit with the consequences of his decisions. He often says that men don't change because of words, they change because of experiences. Detachment creates those experiences. When a woman steps back with dignity instead of desperation, she sends a silent message: I trust myself enough to let this unfold naturally. That energy shifts everything. Steve Harvey emphasizes that detachment is not silence used as punishment. It is not emotional manipulation. It is emotional maturity. It is knowing when to speak and when to allow life to teach the lesson instead. In his talks, Steve Harvey frequently reminds women that love is not supposed to feel like anxiety. If you constantly feel uneasy, insecure, or unsure of your place, something is out of alignment. Detachment realigns power, not over a man, but within yourself. During his rise to success, Steve Harvey learned discipline. He learned that chasing approval weakens authority. The same applies to relationships. When a woman detaches, she is not withdrawing love, she is withdrawing chaos. She removes the noise that clouds judgment. Steve Harvey often talks about faith and patience. He says that waiting does not mean wasting time, it means preparing. Detachment is a form of patience. It is trusting that what is meant for you will meet you without force. In relationships, this patience allows truth to surface. People show you who they are when you stop doing the work for them. One of the hardest truths Steve Harvey shares is this: some relationships only survive because one person is holding it together. Detachment exposes that imbalance. And while that can be painful, it is also freeing, because clarity, even when it hurts, is better than confusion that drains you slowly. Steve Harvey's message to women is clear: you cannot love someone into being who they refuse to become. Detachment accepts this reality without bitterness. It allows a woman to remain loving without being self-destructive. In his later marriage, Steve Harvey speaks about partnership, mutual respect, and understanding roles. He emphasizes that healthy love is calm. It is not constant emotional turbulence. Detachment contributes to that calm. It removes the urgency to control outcomes and replaces it with trust. He teaches that men feel most connected when they feel respected, not managed. Detachment communicates respect. It says, I believe you can handle this. That belief invites responsibility. Control invites resistance. Steve Harvey also reminds women that being emotionally available does not mean being emotionally available at all times, at all costs. Emotional availability without boundaries becomes emotional exhaustion. Detachment preserves energy. It ensures that love is given freely, not resentfully. In real life, Steve Harvey learned that success required sacrifice, discipline, and focus. He had to detach from distractions, toxic environments, and even certain relationships to grow. That same principle applies emotionally. Growth requires letting go of what drains you, even if you care deeply. Detachment helps women stop tying their worth to outcomes. Steve Harvey often says that rejection is not always punishment. Sometimes it is protection. When a woman detaches, she allows life to redirect her if necessary. She does not cling to situations that diminish her spirit. Another real life lesson Steve Harvey shares is that people treat you based on how you allow them to. Detachment is a reset button. It forces people to reassess how they show up. When a woman stops overfunctioning, the man either rises to the occasion or reveals his limits. Either outcome brings truth. Steve Harvey teaches that peace is more valuable than proving a point. Detachment prioritizes peace. It ends cycles of emotional arguments, repeated explanations, and unmet expectations. It shifts focus inward where true control exists. He often tells women, don't confuse loneliness with absence. Sometimes space is necessary for appreciation to grow. Detachment creates space, not to push someone away, but to allow longing, respect, and awareness to return. In real relationships, detachment builds resilience. When life tests the bond, a woman who is secure within herself does not collapse. She stands firm, grounded, and graceful. That stability is attractive. It inspires trust. Steve Harvey's real life message is not about domination or submission. It is about balance. Two people choosing each other freely, not out of fear. Detachment makes that choice possible. He also speaks about timing. Just because you love someone does not mean the timing is right. Detachment allows timing to reveal itself. It prevents premature attachment to outcomes that may not be aligned. Ultimately, Steve Harvey's life proves this truth. You cannot control people, but you can control how much access they have to your emotional energy. Detachment is that control. It is not cold. It is conscious. It is not distance. It is dignity. It is not indifference. It is wisdom earned through experience. A woman who practices detachment does not lose love. She refines it. She removes fear from the equation. She stops negotiating her worth. She stands in her value quietly, confidently, and peacefully. And that, Steve Harvey teaches, is where real power lives.